Recording now, Ann? Yep. Okay.
Yes, I am.
Yep, call the Budget and Finance Committee meeting to order at 6:32. Welcome, everybody. I thought we had a December meeting, but I guess we didn't. So the last minutes for approval is November 23rd. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from November 23rd.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Sean, second by Matt. Any discussion on the minutes?
No.
I have none.
Requires a roll call vote. Sean?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Dennis, yes, 3-0. So we have three pieces of legislation to on the agenda tonight. Two we're going to act on. One is just a standing one that we're going to discuss. So the first order of business is I'll entertain a motion, and we'll refer to the finance director if he wishes to a transfer order FY 21027 contractual buyout pursuant to 6.4 of the Bridgewater Home Rule Charter. The town council votes to appropriate and transfer below the scheduled source of funds for below listed uses. And I guess these are just contractual obligations, but I'll refer to the finance director if he has any comments.
I don't have any comments if there are no questions.
Okay. So the total amount is $80,270.
Dennis, Mike, could I just had a quick question?
Sure. Matt?
Through you, could I just ask for a description of the employee liability trust and why the individual departments don't carry future liabilities of retirements in the individual departments? Could you just explain how we prepare for future retirements and where this money comes from?
We do not have the elasticity in our budget process to plan for unfunded liabilities. What I have done since I came on board was to take reserves and build those reserves and move them into that employee liability account, for lack of a better term, where we put funds away to take care of the unfunded sick leave buyback liability. That has been the practice. To have it budgeted in the department, it doesn't make sense from a budgetary standpoint, and it doesn't make sense from the ownership of that liability. That liability is created through contract negotiations. The contract negotiations are created as a result of, in the past life, Board of Selectmen, town meeting, ratifying contracts. Now it's with the town manager negotiating and town council ratifying contracts. So the decisions that are made at that level will determine what our unfunded liability is. We need to establish a better practice of putting money away, and we're in the process of doing that. We report to our auditors each year as part of our GAAP financial statements, so we are reporting our financial obligation there. But a better plan what the next 5 to 7 years looks like, we're working on right now. I can say this, that the town manager has negotiated sick leave buyback as a benefit. And I don't want to, because some of the contracts are slightly different, but the major police and fire, I know police is 0 now for new hires after a certain date, and I can do a full review of this with this body or council if you would like. And then I believe the police the fire is also been bargained out effective in our last negotiation. So we're still paying for things that were negotiated many, many years ago.
Understood. I appreciate that. And I know that the town has really done an excellent job of mitigating particularly sick time buyback liabilities with future employees. So that liability trust, you mentioned these are mainly sick time, probably vacation buybacks from retirements. Is that trust also handling probably separately, but is it just handling that, or is it also other retirement liabilities?
No.
Okay,
It does not. Other retirement liabilities such as OPEB or our retirement liabilities for Plymouth County, those are all handled in a different fashion. This was specifically a mechanism to deal with this transitional period in our
Awesome.
contracts.
thank you. And just one quick follow-up, if you know the figure, if you don't, that's okay.
Mhm.
What is the trust fund's current balance?
Yeah, $253,181.
Awesome, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Some good, very good questions, Matt, because I remember the day when we didn't have anything in there, and when someone retired, we had to, move money around from other places to pay for this. So it's a good financial tool that we have this now. And also, you never really know. You kind of predict who might retire because they may start talking about it. But during a fiscal year, you just never know when someone just says, "I'm done," and they retire, and that liability becomes seen in more instantly than others. So it's a good fund to have, so it doesn't strain other parts of the budget. Any other
COVID may have
questions?
forced a few early retirements.
Any other questions? I'll entertain a motion on order FY 21027.
So moved.
Second,
Motion by Sean, seconded by Matt. Any discussion?
No.
None.
Requires a roll call vote. Sean,
Yes.
Matt,
yes,
Dennis, yes, 3-0. Okay, so now we're acting under FY 21028, acceptance of a private donation.
Move to recommend to accept.
The motion by Sean to accept the donation. Is there a second?
second, yep,
Second by Matt. Any discussion?
No.
none,
Okay, requires a roll call vote. Sean,
Yes.
Matt,
yes,
Dennis, yes, 3-0.
Thank you for the donation.
$500. So I just put this on here, the FY 22 budget resolution. I know that the Finance Committee is working on it. And I assume soon we'll be having some joint meetings, which is next on the agenda. So I just put this on. We'll keep this on. I don't expect us to take any action on this tonight. I just want to have it on. And when, the Finance Committee was going to make some tweaks to it or put their footprint on it, we can probably, it'll come to the council, and hopefully we can have a joint meeting and discuss it so we're all on the same page. So I just put that on there. Nothing to vote on, just it'll be a standing item until we get the one from the Finance Committee. So the other
Yeah, I just-
thing, sure, Matt.
Yes. And so in terms of the budget resolution, without looking back, is there a way to highlight, or do we know what has changed since our last, fiscal 21 budget resolution? I mean, to me, it looks like boilerplate language. It's all agreeable. Don't think that there's a lot of changes, but do you happen to know offhand if there's anything major that's changed in here other than
I
dates?
don't, and I think that, we've always, Councilor Wood was always the one that sponsored something like this, and it goes to the Budget and Finance Committee. This year, the Finance Committee has it, and they're working with, I believe, the Finance Director, and they're gonna make some, I don't know of any changes, any major changes, other than to put either more teeth or more guidelines in here, but it'll come to us, first the council, and then it'll come to us. And the council would, agree with the changes, not agree with the changes, and then go to the Budget and Finance Committee. So I don't expect anything drastic. I think the tone is going to be similar to what we've been doing over the past several years. Conservative revenue estimates with keeping aware of, keeping down our expenses as well, and also keeping up with the fixed costs, which are eating away, with health insurance and retirement benefits are the big pieces of the budget. Usually around this time of the year, in early January, mid-January, around the MMA conference, we usually get a tone from the governor as to where he's going with his budget. And then the House takes it over as far as local aid goes and school funds. This year's MMA conference is going to be remote. I don't anticipate on attending that this year. But I haven't heard anything that the budget is going to be on time from the governor this year as far as the starting point goes. So it's key to know what House 1 is as far as local aid and school funds. The one thing that's happened this past year is within this past year, as you all know, is the federal government has kicked in millions of dollars to the state for COVID-19 issues to help schools and municipalities, deal with COVID-19 as far as making any adjustments. So as far as a revenue shortfall that the state has seen because of the drop in the economy, obviously we know, dining establishments and local small businesses have hurt tremendously. So we don't know what kind of effect that's going to have on local revenue. We'll wait and see what the finance committee does, and then we'll take it over and maybe meet with them and hash it over. And I'm sure we'll come up with a simple budget resolution, but it'll probably be similar to what you see.
Mr. President, if I may?
Yep, go right ahead.
Yeah, just real quick, the part that you see, and I don't know what you have in front of you, I only have what's on the agenda. And the bottom part of that agenda says this section will be provided by suggested amendments by Finance Committee. Is that what you're looking at, Mr. Rustin?
Yes.
Okay. I met with their subcommittee to talk about what they wanted to look at for changes to the full document. If you need a copy of the full document from last year, you can get that. There will be a document that shows what last year's was and what the proposed changes are so we can track them. That was something someone asked for last year. We'll make sure you have that. And anything else that Mr. Gallagher spoke to will apply.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Which leads us to discussion items. It is coming up on budget season, and we normally do have several joint meetings with the Finance Committee. So we're all kind of meeting together, and we're both not going off on a different path. So I'd like to continue that effort. I don't know what is on our agenda Tuesday night that will be referred to us. My understanding is the two items we voted on tonight, we won't be able to vote on Tuesday night because the Finance Committee doesn't meet until the 25th. And so a recommendation from them on the two items we voted on will not, I don't think we'll be able to take action until they meet. So we won't be able to vote on those until our first meeting in February. So what I'd like to do is I'll work with the chairman of the Finance Committee to start scheduling a couple of joint meetings beginning in February, if that works for you, or starting in February, we'll try. I mean, they usually meet Monday nights. We usually meet Tuesday nights. I can meet, we can, keep on the same track as far as having joint meetings, either Monday or Tuesday nights with them. I'll try to work that out. So it happens a lot, and this usually goes through May when we finish the budget. Some of the meetings, they have to take up their business before we can start a discussion. Sometimes we lagged a lot last year, sometimes behind. They already took votes on things, and we voted on things, and we had the joint meeting. So we can do our business with them. They can do their business with us and still have a joint meeting. Does work. So I'll reach out to them on that.
Mr. President, do you have, I have a rough draft of a timeline that I'm going to issue to the town manager tomorrow, and we were going to have that available for the 11th meeting. If that's not soon enough for your purposes of coordinating what you're referring to, I can get you that draft sooner than that meeting, if that helps.
Yeah, if I reach out and if we have a joint meeting prior to the 11th, we just get a draft of that. We won't, I'll make it clear that it's just a draft and it could change.
Yep.
But yeah,
Okay. Because I think the 11th is the school and the finance committee and the council. It's that annual joint meeting.
19th.
so that's
Then
Tuesday.
I stand corrected.
Yeah.
I will get something out to you well before then now.
Okay, thank you.
I had the 11th in my head. Thank you for that.
Okay. Any other thoughts or comments on the scheduling joint meetings with the finance committee or the budget resolution?
I have none.
No, I don't have any. We'll probably need to talk a little bit. We don't have to do it tonight in regards to what we see for any more CARES Act down the road. I'm still trying to get my head around, what's included in the most recent wave, what isn't included. So that's, I think, something more for clarity for us as well as the public.
Mhm.
But also putting on the table, there's going to be few hard and fast answers. A lot of it kind of changes as things go on. So, and the good news too is we need to convey it to people is the CARES money actually didn't expire at the end of the 2020. So there's a carryover for that as well, which I would not have banked on whatsoever, but it's good to hear. And I'm also very happy to hear that they're expanding the box on that as well. So we can take advantage of that and get us through the lean times and but also get us up to speed in regards to current situations and long-term benefits from there as well.
Right. I understand they did extend the CARES Act for another full year if there's any funds left with Plymouth County or if there's any more money coming from the federal government. But I'm sure,
Well,
I'm sure
Plymouth County still has money.
they do, yeah. And we can
And we still have money to spend.
Right.
So the deadline of 12/31 came and went, but they extended it, so that's a good thing.
Couldn't bank on that though.
So anything else tonight? Is the public comment? I'll open it up if there's anyone from the public that wishes to comment. I don't see anybody's. You have 8 participants. I don't see any hands raised. Okay. That's it. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Sean, seconded by Matt to adjourn. Sean,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
and it's yes. Time is 6:50 and we are adjourned. We'll see you Tuesday night.
Good night, everyone.
Night. Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you.